Hi ladies, how are you? Nicole Scott from Own Your Sparkle. Thanks for joining me on my channel. In this video, I am going to share with you 6 different considerations for transitioning to gray. And I'm really excited to kind of go through my own experience and what I have discovered, and then you can decide which option would be best for you. So let's start out with option 1, which is, I think, the most scariest and bravest move that you can make, is shaving your head. For those that aren't attached to your hair and you're like, I just want to get this done and over with, I'm okay with the reason why I'm going gray and I just want to dive in. This is like, wow, this is extreme, especially if you have long hair, especially if you've been growing your hair out long, especially if you're attached to your hair and your hair represents something big to you. But I have seen a number of ladies in my Gorgeous Gray movement on my Facebook group that have done just this. And oh my gosh, I wish I was brave as them. This was not my path. But I wish I would have been brave enough for them, because let me tell you, it's the simplest, it's the easiest. I think it's one of the boldest statements that you can send to the world, which is, I'm okay, I'm trying something different, and bring it on. So there you go, shaving your hair. Wow, it's the least amount of chemicals you'll have to deal with, right? There's like, bam, it's done. And then you just enjoy the process and the grow out. Okay, step 2 would be, not going so extreme, would be the short pixie cut. And this is actually seems to be one of the more popular ways to go, because it takes on average between 3 to maybe 6 months to grow out a pixie cut. So you can kind of get a really cute style, a funky style, and then you just kind of let the gray come in and you keep on trimming it. This is actually the route that many go. I remember when my mom in her early 50s went gray, this was her transition. I think she said it took her about 6 months, and then she was, fully gray. And from there, she has always played with her gray hair. She puts fun purple in the front. That's kind of like her I guess logo. That's what people like when they see her. It's like, if she doesn't have her purple in, it's like, where's your purple, Janice? It's awesome. So again, it's affordable. There's not a lot of chemicals that you have to deal with. And it's, it doesn't take that long. As long as, again, you're not attached to your hair, it's going to grow back, and you feel comfortable in short hair. Now for me, I had a pixie cut for, probably 15, 20 years, raising kids, and it was the easy style. And I just wasn't ready to go back to pixie. So I did not choose that option. Okay, option number 3 would be starting to get into, and let me just check my notes here. Right, the grow out cold turkey. Ooh. Now, I did consider this. I really did. I had, and you'll see in the pictures here, long dark hair, long dark hair, almost black. And I was, watching on YouTube and following people, and I knew that what was coming in was like white and silver. That's what I got to see here, right? Is this white and silver. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be black and silver, and I was like, I don't know if I could handle that extreme look, bold look. I don't know if I'm just ready to go there. And it really scared me. I tried it for a bit, the grow out, but that demarcation line was so strong, and I just was so uncomfortable with it. Looking back, with the confidence that I have now and what I've gone through, I'd be like, just go cold turkey, Nicole, you'll be fine. But again, looking back is one of those things that, you can look back and, wish your mindset was in a different place. But mine, again, had so much fear around going out to the world with such an aggressive line that I decided that wasn't for me. But let me tell you, I see beautiful women in different groups and on YouTube and social media that are just allowing it to come out cold turkey, and they look gorgeous. They absolutely look gorgeous. It's an ombre that starts to happen, right? The silver comes, and then depending on what color is down here. And these are women that are like, I'm not ruining my hair. I don't want to use chemicals. I'm not willing to cut my hair. This is me. I love it. I own it. And I'm like, they're badass. I love it. I love it. So congratulations for all those women that just said, I'm done, cold turkey, let's do this. So that is an option. Option 3, cold turkey. That wasn't me though. It scared me, and I admire the women that could do that. Okay, step 4 is starting to blend. So that's where I started in my journey, and you'll see in the pictures that I show you here, is I started to get some highlights to lighten this area up in here, so it wasn't so strong. And I did highlights for probably about 3 or 4 months, just getting some highlights. My one rule, so I stopped in October of 2018 putting anything on my roots. That was the deal. Nothing going on my roots ever again. I wanted to avoid the chemicals. And so I did probably like three treatments. Still, you know, it wasn't to where I liked it. So then I was like, okay, so what else is there option? Now, blending is great, especially if you have light hair. It's kind of an easy transition. If you've already kind of been blonde and you've already got like lots of highlights, it just kind of blends, and I've seen it work really, really lovely, and just allowing it to like grow out. That's awesome. The challenge is if you've got dark hair like I had, it can be a brutal process, and I'm just warning you that your hair is going to turn many different colors. And I joke because every time I went to get my hair done, my boyfriend would say, oh, wonder what color you're going to be today, because when you're getting rid of all of your dark hair, you're going to go through all the color scheme that has to happen in order for you to go to blonde. So I was orange and pukey browns and yellows and all these lots of, I don't know, colors that you could, you know, you would never pick to color your hair. They just, it turned it. So I really had to go through key stages in the blending and the highlighting that I wasn't happy with at all. I wore a hat a lot. And even sometimes it'd be like, what color is your hair this month? I'm like, I don't know. It feels like it's like 15 different colors because it was all over the map. So that was not a fun transition. So just be aware if you're really, really, really dark hair and you're going through the transition, that it can get a little messy. Okay, messy. It's probably the hardest transition, is to go from dark hair to blonde to gray. It's like the hardest, and it's the hardest on your hair. So of course I picked the hardest to do, right? Thinking it's going to be easy and it's going to blend. No, it was the hardest by far. So I started with highlights, and then I got, you know, sold to, why don't you now bleach it and bleach your hair? And then from the bleaching, we can start to put gray toner on. So I kind of got sold on, let's try that. So that's step number 5, which you go beyond highlights and you start bleaching your hair. So literally taking it all out and then putting some gray toner on. And so you'll see in some pictures, like it turned out pretty decent. I had good appointments. I was like, wow, this looks beautiful. I look almost fully gray and transitioned. You know, I'm in month 8th, 9th, 10, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. But the problem that I didn't understand or comprehend is that gray toner goes away really, really quickly, especially in my hair. So all of a sudden the gray turns to a pukey, orangey yellow again, and you're stuck with the same ombre of different colors of grays and yellows and oranges, and you're like, oh my gosh, then you're down the rabbit hole. And I felt I was on the rabbit hole. I was like, I've come this far now, what do I do? And so it was 6 appointments in when I found a local hairdresser that was transitioning women. And she said, Nicole, come in, I'll check out your hair, and I'll tell you honestly, like how long, your appointment will be. And she sold me on, I could get your hair looking perfect. So this was appointment number 7. So the perfect was, you know, the highlights, the blending, the foils, all of that stuff. And oh my gosh, that appointment was 7.5 hours, guys. Would I do it again? No. No, I would not do it again, but it was an interesting experience. So my whole hair, and you'll see in the picture of my final picture, awesome, right? Like take a look at that picture. Holy cow, that was like amazing. I was so happy with it, but guess what? That did not last long. The yellow started coming back. She's like, you're gonna have to come back every 4 weeks. You're gonna have to put, you know, toners in. Sometimes my hair turned a little bit green because I got hard water and I wasn't using enough purple shampoo. Honestly, this process for me was like almost as worse as having to go back every 3 to 4 weeks to touch up my roots. And it was driving me insane. I was like, this is not worth it. If I go back to the other options, remember what I said? Shave, cold, pixie cut, those options were so much more attractive to me now after going through the process and the amount of money that I ended up having to spend. I had done the calculation after my 7th appointment that I had sat in hair salon chairs for 24 hours and have spent over $1,500 trying to have the perfect blend. And I was like, Nicole, this is crazy. So I'm just giving you a warning that if you do decide to take this path, be prepared for time, expenses, like worrying about like when your next appointment is going to be because you don't know what color your hair is going to turn. That was just as stressful as, you know, doing my roots. So not my favorite choice. And I probably would not recommend it or do it again, especially going from dark hair to blonde. Probably would have just gone cold turkey. I wish I you know, had the insight back then. Okay, and the last one, which I investigated, was literally going in for an appointment and doing it all in one appointment. So you might go onto social media and start to Google some big names in hairdressing, where they will literally sit you in a chair between 9 to 12 hours and literally transform your entire head from, you know, an ugly demarcation line to a full gray hair. Now, I was researching that and I was following some bloggers, and the one lady I came across did exactly that. She had dark hair. She wanted it instantly. She was impatient. She had this gorgeous, gorgeous dark hair. And at the end of it, because it's so aggressive, and she had dark hair, and the amount of bleaching and foils that she had to do over and over and over again in that like time period, she lost half of her hair. She showed in the video like these literally chunks of hair coming out. And I went, oh my gosh, don't recommend it, not going to do it. Hence why it took me up to the 10th month of trying to do the best that I could to protect my hair and do it over many, many, many appointments. That's why it took so long to get to that place before we could, you know, do a full transition versus the aggressive that one hand. So I don't recommend that last step, which is to do it all in one appointment. But I know it's totally up to you. You know, this is a journey about, you know, making a decision that feels right and authentic for you in that moment, in that mindset. And so this video is just to really share from my heart, you know, what I ended up researching, you know, the path that I took, the path that I probably, you know, regretted the most, because it just was, it was more of just, well, how can I even describe it? Just all consuming, right? And the whole point of just allowing yourself to bring in the gray should be freedom. I've made a decision, I'm done, I'm gonna let the process happen. But I guess I just wasn't ready for that. But I'm glad I've gone through the journey that I had, because then I get to share it with other people and other experience to say, yeah, this worked for me or it didn't work for me. So, you know, whatever decision you choose, there are options for you. You know, my journey of going gray was all about better health and getting rid of the toxins and the chemicals, and not having to go to the salon every 3 weeks and always be, you know, concerned about that, like, mark, oh my gosh, people are going to judge me. Oh my gosh, people are, you know, I'm not together. You know, all of that bull crap that we hear from society of the way that we should look as women. And I can tell you that I am so glad I went down this path. That I've learned so much. And, you know, I'm still in the transition now. You can see that, you know, I still have, you know, so let's say for here would be my natural gray. This is still the bleached out blonde stuff that still has to grow out and get cut out. You can see if I lift up my hair, because the highlights didn't happen on the inside of my hair, she just did it on the outside. I'm a lot farther when you take that first layer off. You can see I'm a lot farther. Remember, it was October 2008 that I stopped, you know, putting the dye on my hair. So you can see I'm actually on this beautiful piece, pretty virgin hair here, pretty much all gray. So that has been from October all the way until now. So that's about, what would that be, 15 months? 15 months of grow out. So even if I would have shaved it, guys, think about this. If I would have shaved it 15 months later, my hair would have been here, right? I would have been done. Or even a pixie cut. If I would have done a pixie cut, look at what would happen. I would have already been here without the extra cost, without the waste of time sitting in that chair, without the extra chemicals that I ended up, you know, putting on my hair, even though I went to an organic salon. 15 months has gone by pretty fast. It's just a mindset story that you have to just shift from the fear of that line. To get over that, then I would say shave it, pixie, grow it out cold turkey. Save yourself some money. Thanks everyone for watching.